Give everybody a chance to tune in before I start building on the topic for the day. Got about 30 minutes. I just want to do another quick joint. Short video for the people to get y'all motivated, get y'all inspired so y'all can conquer the rest of your day. So hopefully you all are having a powerful Wednesday thus far. Staying healthy, staying positive, staying peaceful, staying centered, maintaining your balance, not letting anybody knock you off your square. Remaining calm in the midst of all this chaos. It's a very chaotic world out here, man. A lot of things going down. So hopefully you all stand centered. Eli, Justin, peace. What's going on with you all? How y'all living? How y'all feeling? How y'all holding up? Magic Realms, peace. What's going on? Hopefully everybody out here staying productive, staying peaceful, staying positive. I know it's a hard thing to do during these times, but we got to do it. You got to do what you got to do. Zucko, what's going on with you, my brother? How you feeling? How you holding up? So we just got to continue to pass along that positivity, man. We got to pass on that positivity, pass on that inspiration, because it's a lot of people going through some challenging times right now. D Monty, what's going on with you, my brother? Eli, man, I wouldn't even recommend. I wouldn't fool with the crack Donalds at all. Brandon, peace. What's going on? Yeah, we gonna build on it. We gonna build on this. Gonna build on depression. If you fighting that depression, man, it's a lot of people that's fighting this battle silently. So I know how I go. Oh, Zucko, everything is smooth my way. Everything is good. What Lauren Hill say, everything is everything my way. Everything is everything. But like I said, man, Lindell, peace, what's going on? But it's a lot of people, man, that's battling depression. You will be surprised, man. Like I said, man, you never know what the next person is going through, man. So that's why I always tell people, be mindful in regards to just how you interact with people. You never know what a person is going through, man. A person could just be one bad statement away from just losing it all. So always be mindful. Always be mindful of that reality when you interacting with other people. You never know what that other person is going through, man. So that's why I always strive to be positive. Always strive to just speak positively to people, because you never know. You never know, man. They might be on their last leg and they may need that little ounce of positivity. That little ounce of positivity may be all they needed to just convince them to not take that jump. Not let that depression conquer them. Just that little ounce of positivity. And then on the flip side, that little ounce of negativity can be all they need for validation to go ahead and make that jump, man. Let that depression get the best of them. So you never know what people are going through, man. So always be mindful of that reality when you just interacting with other people, man, because a lot of people are battling depression or fighting depression, and it's just internal. It's an internal struggle. It's an internal struggle, and a lot of people can suppress it and mask it well. Sometimes, like a lot of people, you can see right through it. You can look at them and see that they battling depression. Some people, it's not so obvious, man. Those are the people that you really need to watch out for. The people that can really mask the fight, the internal battle, well, those are the people, man, that when it's time for them to explode, they will explode, and it will be crazy. It will be crazy. It will be a crazy explosion. And it's a lot of people that's out here like that, man. They smile and everything is looking good on the outside for them. When you look at their life, it appears as if everything is smooth, but really, internally, they are struggling. They are fighting themselves. So we always got to be mindful of that, man. And then if you one of those people that are battling the depression internally, that are fighting, that's fighting internally, just fighting with yourself. Again, I know how that struggle is going, man. I'm going through one of those phases, man, where that internal war, man, is real and it's powerful. It's real and it's powerful, man. Y'all know how I go. Y'all know the little voices in the head, man. They be talking to you sometimes, man. Just be striving to just convince you to do other than what you know you need to be doing. You know how I go, man. It's an internal struggle. Again, like they say, you are your biggest enemy. You are your own worst critic and things of that nature. Some days it's a lot worse than others. So if anybody can relate to that struggle, I'll let you know right now, like, you are not alone. It's plenty of people. It's plenty of people experiencing that internal struggle, that deep depression. And a lot of it, again, like we talked about in the last stream, a lot of it results from suppressing emotions, suppressing feelings, and just not resolving conflicts that occurred in the past. So those unresolved conflicts, man, that just really sets the trigger for that depression. And sometimes that depression hits you and you don't even know where it really came from. Those are those unresolved conflicts. Those are those suppressed emotions and feelings coming to the surface. So to you, it may feel like that depression, or it may appear as if that depression came out of nowhere. But in reality, it came from those suppressed feelings and those suppressed emotions, that suppressed energy came deep down. It came from deep down. That's really the origin of that depression. So we always got to be mindful of that, man. That's why it's always good, man, to just resolve conflicts, man. Just let everything out, let everything flow. Don't stop the thought. Don't bury that thought. You don't want to bury anything, man. You want to deal with it when it comes up, and then let it go when it's time to let it go. Just let it flow. Let it come, let it go. What happens is we tend to stop those thoughts, then we try to bury those thoughts. Like, that's the wrong thing to do. It's the wrong thing to do. There's no such thing. You're not really going to kill those thoughts. You're not going to kill the things that happened to you in the past. Like, you're not going to kill these feelings. These feelings going to always exist. There is no such thing as murdering the feeling or killing the feeling. It's going to come to you. Like, when you having that down moment, it's going to come back to you. It may come back to you weeks from now. It may come back to you the next day. It may come back to you an hour from now. That's not going to be the last of that. That's not going to be the last of that. So those so-called negative thoughts, you can't kill them. You can't murder them. You can't assassinate these negative thoughts. They're going to always exist. That's a part of life. You got to accept them, man. You got to accept them for what they are. Because just as quick as they come to you, they'll leave just as fast. You got to allow it to do that, though. You got to allow it to run its course. That's what we tend to not do when it comes to battling depression. We always stop that negative thought. When you stop it, that's when you create the problem. That's when that depression gets deeper, because again, when you stop it, you feel like it's a thought that you got to kill. You feel like it's a thought that you got to bury. Like, that's the way that you kill something, you bury it. So that's what tends to happen. That's what tends to happen, when in reality, all you're doing is just burying something alive, and it's not dying. So you're not killing that negative thought. You're not killing that negative experience when you stop it and you think you burying it. But you burying it alive, so it's not really dying. So I suggest people stop doing that. Stop stopping that negative thought and looking at it like it's something that's bad or something that you got to try to rid yourself of. It's normal, man. It's normal and it's healthy. It's normal and it's healthy for you to let those type of thoughts flow. And I express that all the time, and I can't express that enough. That's one of the best ways to just conquer this fight, to conquer that depression, to conquer that internal war that's going on. Stop stopping those thoughts and trying to bury them and kill them. No such thing. Montel, peace, what's going on with you? Tavon, what's going on? Hurts, most definitely. That's all it is. It's just a challenge, man. But however you got to reshape it. Sweet Tea, what's going on? However you got to reshape those negative thoughts, man, in order to help you overcome them and just let them flow instead of stopping them, striving to bury them. That's how you got to view it. That's how you got to reshape it. But at the end of the day, like I said, there's really no such thing as that positive and negative, man. At the end of the day, like, it's our perception that makes something positive. It's our perception that makes something negative. At the end of the day, those thoughts are neutral. They are just thoughts. They are just feelings. Those thoughts are just neutral. We place the label on them. So, like, again, like I always quote Bruce Lee when he say empty the cup. Sometimes you just got to do that, man, and let these feelings and these emotions flow. Stop labeling that feeling and say, oh, that's a bad emotion. That's a negative emotion. That's a positive emotion. That's a positive feeling. That's a powerful. Stop doing that. Just let them be thoughts and let them be feelings, because that's all that they are at the end of the day. They are not good, nor are they bad. They simply just are. They are feelings, they are emotions, they are thoughts. We don't have to label them good or bad. That's actually making the problem a lot worse. Because at the end of the day, too much of anything can kill you and harm you. So you can be overly excited. That's an extreme. So being overly excited will do the same thing to you as if you are just like severely depressed. So you don't even want to be overly excited. That can cause damage to you internally. So at the end of the day, it's no need for me to label these feelings, these thoughts, and emotions. It's no need for you to label those feelings, those thoughts, and emotions. What is that doing? What are you getting out of that? No need to do that, man. Just allow the feelings to be what they are, just feelings. Allow the emotions to just be what they are, energy, emotion. Just allow them to be what they are. Stop trying to control them. Stop trying to tell them, oh, you are a bad thought, you are a bad feeling, you are a bad emotion. I must rid myself of you. I must kill you. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. Yeah, D Monty Magic, and that's another reason, Static Sand Piece, what's going on, and that's a big battle too. And that's why I always tell people to really just evaluate what it is you do to earn your living. And a lot of people tend to make excuses when I bring this up. But I feel like one of the biggest causes of our depression currently revolves around what we do for a living. Like if you don't like your job, if you don't like how you earn your living, then you will be a depressed person. There's no way around it. It's hard for us to truly accept the reality that I don't like what I do for a living. Because you got to think about how many hours we spend on these jobs. D, what's going on? I mean, when you do the knowledge to it, like if you work in 2 or 3 jobs, how many hours out of your day are you spending on these jobs? So if you don't like what you're doing, that means you spending 10 to 12 hours a day not liking what you are doing. That is going to trigger depression. That is going to create a depressing environment. So it is very imperative and it's very important to find a way to earn a living doing something that you enjoy, love, passionate about, whatever the case may be. That is very important for your mental health, for your brain health. Very important. You have got to find a way to do something that you enjoy for a living or something that's just less stressful. You have got to find a way to earn a living doing something you enjoy. And trust me, there are plenty of ways to do that, plenty of ways to go about that. But if you spending 10 to 12 hours a day hating what you do for a living and then just trying to mask it by saying, I got to do what I got to do to feed myself and feed my family, at the end of the day, man, you just a ticking time bomb just waiting to explode. Because you suppressing a lot of ill will, man, when deep down, the truth is you hate what it is that you do to earn this living. It's only a matter of time before you explode. More than likely, you already explode and you do it every night, but you explode on the wrong people. The people that are around you that really support you, the family, you know, the spouse, the girlfriend, the boyfriend, the children. You explode on them every night because you hate what it is that you do. And anytime they ask you a question like you ready to just snap, you on edge because you're not liking your job. But when you at this job, you can't allow that emotion to show, so you gotta suppress it. So it tends to come out when you are around your family. So that's why, again, it's very important to just love what you do. Love what you do for a living, man. It is very important to find a way to do that. Because at the end of the day, if you spending those 12 hours hating what you're doing, it's gonna come out on the wrong people. That negative energy, that anger, that frustration, whatever it is you want to call it, it's gonna come out on the wrong people. Happens all the time. Lindell, man, condolences, most definitely. That's tragic, and that's never easy to deal with. Wheezy, peace, what's going on? And D, I got the twisted locks, and then D on top of that, diet. It's all a formula. There's nothing that 100% causes depression. So diet is something that can trigger depression, that can cause depression, is definitely a part of the equation, but it's a lot of different things that can trigger depression, man. If you've had some traumatic losses in your life, I don't care how well you eat. If you don't come to grips with those traumatic losses in your life, you will be depressed. So it's a lot of different aspects and causes behind depression. You just got to get down to the root cause of your depression. You got to get to the root cause of your anxiety. Something that may cause you to be depressed may not cause another person to be depressed. So it's all subjective, and it's all relative to the individual that's going through it. So it's all different. Some people can change the way that they eat, and then that can also elevate them mentally. For some, it's a lot deeper than that. It's a lot deeper than that. If you dealt with the traumatic loss of your mother and you haven't gotten over it, I don't care how good you eat. I don't care how good you eat. If you don't come to grips with that reality, I don't care how good you eat. And I've witnessed that. So like, it just depends on the person that's dealing with the depression. It depends on the person and the type of depression that they are undergoing and what's causing the depression, the root of their depression. Fun, gay, peace, what's going on? So one of the things that I definitely suggest in regards to combating depression, man, is just finding a way to do what you love for a living. That's crucial. Then secondly, man, just for depression, we all know about meditation. Just freeing them, that's one of the best ways to free the mind. Put the mind at ease. Let those thoughts come and go. Just empty the cup, empty that mental cup. Meditation is one of the best things to do for that. Also, like my man D said, just watching what you eat, man, just altering your regimen. So you definitely want to, if you deal with depression heavily, you definitely want to stay away from a lot of the processed foods. Processed foods, as we know, can create that processed mind. So we definitely want to stay away from the processed foods. We want to minimize the refined carbs. We definitely want to stay away from the cookies, cakes, pastas, white bread, white rice, and things of that nature. If you battling depression, if you battling anxiety, definitely want to stay away from those type of things. Want to minimize the dairy products and the meat, of course, because again, like I've talked about, when you consuming the meat, when you consuming the animal, you consuming the trauma. So a lot of times we walking around here depressed, we walking around here angry, frustrated, fearful, all of those type of things, because we consuming that energy from that meat. So when you consuming them animal products, you consuming that trauma, you consuming that fear, because before that animal was slaughtered, it was in fear. It knew what was coming to it. Contrary to popular belief, we think these animals are not wise and intelligent. Well, they are. So when you consuming that meat that was slaughtered, that animal that was slaughtered, you consuming that energy, you consuming that fear, you consuming that trauma, you consuming everything that animal went through, you consuming that. So you taking on that energy in which you consuming from that animal, and then just think about it. Just think about how much or how many animal products we consuming throughout the day. So you taking on that energy in abundance. You taking on that energy in abundance if you eating that animal product or animal products 3 times out the day. So you consuming trauma after trauma after trauma, fear after fear after fear, feeling of abandonment after feeling of abandonment. So you consuming all that on a daily basis more than one time. So no wonder why a lot of us are walking around as a mere reflection of that type of energy. Terenzo, peace, what's going on? Almost definitely. Yeah, you already know we talk about journaling, and the thing too, just to lump all of this together, like we mentioned all of these things that can help with depression, but I feel like one thing that you must focus on in regards to just conquering anything in life is consistency. Consistency. Yes, journaling helps depression. Meditation helps depression. Watching what you eat helps depression. Working out, exercising helps depression. All of these things help. But if you don't stay consistent, then it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. You can't just eat good for 1 week, then fall off for the next 2 weeks, and then try to bounce back. and the week after that. You can't just meditate every other day. Like, these are things that you have to do consistently. You can't just journal every Monday and Friday. No, you got to journal every day. You got to get those thoughts out every day. Consistency is the real key. So all of those practices are good, but if you're not a consistent person, then it doesn't matter. So you got to master consistency in regards to those particular practices, in regards to resolving your depression. Oh, CJ, we already know that the medication that they prescribe makes everything worse. Whether it be a vaccine, whether it be something to treat depression. The side effects are worse than the actual situation that you're trying to cure or treat. So we already know how they roll. The best way to get off something like depression, man, is naturally. Looking at it from a holistic angle. When you go to them and get the medication, 9 times out of 10, for one, that may create an addiction. So you may get addicted to the medication, and then it could just make matters worse. They give you something for depression, then that creates insomnia. Then they give you something to treat the insomnia that makes the depression worse. So then you just dependent upon them for that medication, and then they create that addiction. Oh, Brandy, man, escaping the plantation, like I said, that should be a goal. Unless you like or love your job, like, you should always be striving to remove yourself from the plantation and do something that brings you peace. Do something that's not as stressful. Like, that's not something to brag about, man, to just be working in a high stress environment. Like, you see that when you apply for some of these jobs, man, just when you read the description for some of these positions, like, it's stressful. It lets you know, got to be able to multitask, high-paced environment. Like, some of those type of environments are not conducive to your overall health and well-being, and they want you to work 9 to 10 hours a day in those type of environments. Like, those environments are not conducive to your overall health and well-being. So when you immerse yourself in that type of environment, no wonder why you feeling some type of way. No wonder why you depressed. No wonder why you angry and frustrated. No wonder why you don't want to deal with people outside of that particular plantation, outside of that job. You fed up, you drained. So you drain, and I definitely know how that go, because I was in that situation, man, just having to deal with that type of environment. Having to deal with that type of environment 8, 9 hours out of the week. So it's like, when you leave to go to the plantation, the sun's coming up, it's just coming up. When you get off, it's dark type deal, man, you just don't want to be bothered. And it's messed up, but you end up taking everything out on the people around you, man. You just don't want to be bothered anymore. You don't want to talk. You just want to sit there and just kind of relax and chill. Last thing you really want to do is talk about your day, and talk about anything for that matter, especially when you just deal with being an introvert like myself. So when I have to deal with the public, when I'm out here in corporate, when I was out in corporate America and just having to deal with that type of environment, me being an introvert, then when I get away from that environment, man, the last thing I want to do is converse. The last thing I want to do is have a conversation. Like, I just want to sit down and just isolate myself and just not talk, man, and just chill. Like, that's what I be on. Like, that's something that I would want to be on after I leave the plantation, after dealing with that type of environment for 9 hours out of the day. And then at the end of the day, when you put in all of that work just to basically barely keep your lights on, man, just to be able to just maintain. Like, you really not even getting ahead. So you devoting all this time and energy to build up someone else's empire just for you to basically just maintain an average standard of living. So you're not even getting ahead. So you stressing yourself out, you killing yourself, and it's really not putting you ahead in life. So, like, really, what's the point? If that's your situation, then it's time for you to come up, construct a plan for you to get up out of that situation. Because, I mean, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. it'll be semi worth it if it was putting you ahead. So then that way you can construct a plan financially to remove yourself from that situation. But if you barely getting by and you dedicating all this time and energy to this plantation, to this job, like, nah, man, it's best for you to remove yourself from that. Yeah, CJ, and that's the cold truth. That's the cold truth, man. It's like I don't even try to tame it. Like I said, man, I don't even try to tame it. Again, at the end of the day, when you had those down days, man, I just had those down days. It is what it is. I don't try to tame it. I don't try to tame it, man. Me trying to tame that depression, that's like the worst thing that I feel like you can do. And that's what they try to do with the medication. And that creates a multitude of problems. Oh, Sean, man, I'd have been there, done that, man. I used to think about, and that's how I got the perception that some little information. I used to think about death all the time as a child. So that's something that always was on my mind. And that actually led to just a lot of depression. I used to think about death frequently. I used to have those suicidal thoughts frequently, man. It wasn't something that I openly expressed, but I thought about it. Brandon, starting the shoe business, the time is now to get on it. The time is now to construct that plan, strategize, and get that business in motion. The time is now. Terenzo, social media is definitely a big part. Social media plays a big role in depression. Social media plays a big role in depression. I'm not even gonna lie to you. And it can be good and bad depending on how the person that's going through the depression uses the social media. For some people, social media is their journal, it's their outlet to express themselves. But for a lot of people, social media is that tool that they looking at, they analyzing everybody else's life, and they comparing themselves to everybody else on social media, and they start feeling some type of way. They may see a bunch of lies, they may see a bunch of fabrications, a bunch of people acting like they living a life that they really not living. And they start feeling some type of way because they comparing their life to that particular person, not knowing that person is lying to you. That person is not showing you everything. Brandon, if it's the passion, get on it, man. You got my support most definitely. Fun gay, and that's one thing that I was talking about. One thing that I was talking about, when you come across this information, sometimes when you start coming across information, especially powerful information, it can definitely lead to you being depressed if you don't know how to handle that particular information. And not even if you don't know how to handle it, man, it could just be overwhelming, especially when, like we talked about, people around you not really willing to accept you because you're starting to change. It's like people expect for you to be the same person that you was in high school. So once you start growing mentally, once you start educating yourself, coming across certain pieces of information, people start looking at you funny. And that's a hard pill to swallow, especially if it's people that you've been rocking with since you were a child, especially if it's family. So that can be a hard pill to swallow for the average person. So that's not something that's easy to deal with. That's not something that's easy to manage. You can manage it, you can deal with it, but it's not necessarily easy. And it's something that happens, sadly enough, when you begin to evolve. So when you start to improve upon self, that's probably gonna be the most challenging time in your life. That's gonna be the most challenging time in your life, when you strive to evolve, when you are evolving, when you are striving to become a better you. That's going to be the roughest patch in your life, because that's when you are going to experience the most obstacles and the most trouble, when you are striving to change for the better. And that's sad, but it's a reality. The Monty Magic, most definitely, especially when you know your worth. That makes it a lot harder to exist within corporate America when you know your worth. When you know what you are worth, when you know your value, it really makes it hard. It makes it hard to work for a person that you feel like you are smarter than. It makes it hard for you to work for a manager that you feel like you can do the job better than them. It makes it hard for you to accept the authority from the higher ups when you feel like, once again, you you more powerful than them, you smarter than them, you have more wisdom and information than them. When you operating like that, man, it's hard for you to exist within the corporate world, and they tend to shun a person like that when they know what they are worth. They don't like those individuals. They like people that they can control. So when you know your worth, when you educated, when you intelligent, and you ain't afraid to express it, like they tend to close a lot of doors on you. They want puppets. They want people that they can control in corporate America, and that's just a fact. They don't want that intelligent person that's gonna stand on their square. They don't want that free thinking, that free mind, that liberated mind. They don't want that original person. They want that artificial person. They want someone they can plant seeds in their mind, and they just accept those seeds. Oh, D, school definitely. Yeah, most definitely. School definitely causes depression. That's definitely a cause of it. Most definitely. School can be stressful, especially considering the fact of what they teach, and then even the food that they feed the kids at these schools, trash, like all of that, man. School in and of itself is a big reason why kids are depressed as well. Then we're not even getting to the fact of like how the other kids treat one another and things of that nature. So yeah, school definitely plays a role in depression. Yeah, Torenzo, 13 Reasons was big. Montel, I know a lot of people, and it's a lot of people dealing with the social media aspect of depression silently. A lot of people don't even know that the social media is causing their depression. A lot of people don't even know that. Oh, Brandon, most definitely. Your environment definitely plays a role. Like what they say, you're a product of your environment. You're a product of your environment. Not too many people can produce the type of environment that we need. It's a select few of us that got the power to do that. You would be one of the select few. But for the most part, we become products of our environment. So when your environment is stressful, when your environment is poor, like your mentality is a reflection of that environment 90% of the time. It's only a select few that make it out. Y'all know the success stories. They made it out of that hood. They made it out of that impoverished environment. But for the most part, everybody else that was in that same environment, like their mentality and their way of life is a reflection of that environment. Oh, Zucko, most definitely. Most definitely. And that's why I tell people, be mindful of what you tell people. And that goes to parents. Be mindful of what you tell these children. Be mindful of just what you say when you are around your kids. Be mindful, because these kids are paying attention. We pay attention. We soaking up everything. We soaking up the game, man. When you tell that kid he ain't nothing, when you tell that kid he worthless, whatever it is that you tell that kid, like, it's going to resonate, it's going to hit hard with that child when it's coming from that parent. They will not forget that. They will not forget that moment. So so you definitely want to watch what you say around the kids, man. You definitely want to watch what you say around the kids, and that goes for teachers, and that goes for parents, that goes for coaches as well. I had plenty of coaches when I played sports let me know that I pretty much wasn't going to amount to anything because of my size. Like, you already know how it is when you're the short person out there, when you're the small person out there. So a lot of coaches, man, they underestimated me because of my size, and I went on to play college ball and things of that nature just to kind of shut them up. So that type of stuff can get to that kid, man. That type of stuff can get to a kid. That type of stuff can break them down. So if you a coach, if you a teacher, if you a parent, man, just watch what you say to these kids. If you any type of older authority, man, and younger people looking up to you, watch what you say around these kids. Oh, Zucko, most definitely. I got the text, man. I'm gonna probably shoot you a response later on today. Oh, Brandon, most definitely. And then it's a good thing that you picked up on that. It's a good thing that you picked up on what not to do. See, a lot of times we don't do that. Like and when you analyze your parents, like I said, you can figure out what not to do and you can figure out what to do just by analyzing. D, most definitely, and like you said, that you can attribute that to your environment. So an environment can definitely bring you down, man. An environment has a lot of power. When you outnumbered, man, that environment can get you. So when you're around a bunch of depressed people and it's just one of you that's not depressed, more than likely, like, you're gonna succumb to that depressed energy. So that's why I don't even like to go around certain environments. I just don't like to be around certain types of people because I know it's gonna bring me down. Oh, Zucco, most definitely. I was the short guy that was always battling. So I already know how that go. Sean, with the flashbacks, I just allow them to happen. Because again, like I said, those flashbacks are not something that you can kill, assassinate, murder, get rid of. They gonna always exist. But when they come, just let them go. Just let them come and let them go. Let it flow. Let it run its course. So those flashbacks are not negative. Those flashbacks are not positive. Those flashbacks are just that, flashbacks. So just as fast as they will come, they will leave. So just let them run its course. That's all you can do. You let it run its course enough, then it may stop coming up. It may stop popping up. But I just let flashbacks run their course. That's all that I do. I don't stop the flashback and say, oh my goodness, that was traumatic, that was crazy, that was negative, that was destructive. I say, all right, it's the flashback, and I just let the flashback run its course. That's it. Magic rims, I can definitely bear witness to that. Oh, D, we already know why they don't promote healthy foods and whatnot. They got to keep society sick. They got to keep society sick because there's money to be made by keeping us sick. So they're not going to promote anything that will encourage us to be healthy. So they got to keep society sick. And the best way to do that is to promote things that keep us sick. So that's why they do that. It's money to be made in keeping us sick. It's money to be made in our sickness, and it's money to be made in our death. So the longer they can keep us sick, the more money that they can make. So that's why they're creating all of this medicine, all these vaccines that may prolong your life. So therefore you can be sick, you can have diabetes a lot longer than you would have had them back in the day. So they're just keeping you on the medication a lot longer. So your quality of life is trash, but you living longer. So they making more money off of you, opposed to you just getting the diabetes and dying after 5 years. You may have the diabetes for 20 or 30 years, and you hooked on their medication, they insulin shots and all of that for 20 or 30 years. So they making more money off of them. So like that's why they got to promote that type of stuff. Oh yeah, they definitely they profit off of that stress, man. They profit off of keeping us stressful, keeping us toxic, and all of that good stuff, man. And they know that. They profit off keeping us depressed. Because again, what tends to happen when people are depressed? You have what's called emotional eaters. So you have people that eat based off of their emotions. So if you can keep them depressed, and then for the most part, when people are emotional eaters, what are they gravitating towards? That junk food. So again, they profit off keeping us depressed because we turn into emotional eaters and we start gravitating toward that junk food. Oh, Lindell, man, being bullied, man, that's a tough situation to deal with. Cause like I said, man, just being a short guy, always being like the small guy, I can relate to that. And the only way that I was able to conquer any of that, man, was to let everybody know this is not that. I stood up to everybody. So that's how I earned my respect. So people trying to bully me didn't really last long, man, because I wasn't going out like that. So that's the only way to conquer being bullied, man, is to face them bullies head on and let them know, man, hey, you ain't finna play around. I ain't finna play around with you. I ain't finna play around with you. Whether I gotta act like I'm crazy, that like I'm gonna do something to let you know, give you the notion that you not about, this ain't that, man. You're not about to play around with me. So I let people know early on, man, like that I wasn't finna go out without a fight. So I wasn't like, that stuff lasted, that stuff didn't last long. People wasn't finna be coming to me crazy because I was gonna go out with a fight, man. Yeah, I might have been the smallest person in there, but I was strong, I was powerful, and I was gonna demonstrate that. I was gonna go out fighting. Cam Cooper, peace, what's going on? Yeah, Brandy, and that's why, hey, and sadly enough, that's why you have school shootings and things like that. But I was just letting people know, no, this ain't that, man. This is not that. And then even with like joking, so you know, we did a lot of joking. So I just learned how to joke back, and things like that. So the verbal abuse, I just learned how to joke back. But I wasn't going out with the physical bullying. That wasn't gonna happen. That wasn't gonna happen. I wasn't gonna allow that one. I wasn't going out like that. Basically, I took the advice when my people said somebody hit you, you hit them back type deal. Like I roll with that advice. I'm not going out like that. Oh, D, and that's peace, man. I done definitely been in situations like that where people were just trying to pick on a guy that, you know what I'm saying, might be like in whatever way you. And I used to be cool with all of them. I used to be cool with all of them. I used to come to all of their defense. Yeah, Brandon, like I said, I definitely can relate. Definitely can relate. Magic Rims, and I took that to heart. You hit me, I'm hitting you back. No questions about it. I'm slamming you or something. Like whatever it is I gotta do, I'm gonna do something. Yeah, D Monty Magic, it was all about self-hate back then. It was all about self-hate back then, man. I can tell you, man, because I was one of the ones, I rocked the afro, like in 5th grade. So the self-hate was real, man. So a lot of people didn't rock with the afro, man. A lot of people just called my hair nappy, things of that nature, man. Just all self-hate. So self-hate was real back in those days, man. Yeah, Sean, and that's an awkward situation to be in. You getting punished because you defending yourself. But at the end of the day, man, I'm just gonna have to defend myself. Whatever comes after me defending myself, just gonna have to come to me, because that's not a good feeling, just personally, to just allow somebody to just pick on you. That's a horrible feeling. The abusive parents are trash. I mean, to keep it simple. Abusive parents are trash and they deserve everything that comes to you. You should not be abusing a child. You a parent abusing your child, like anything that's bad that comes your way, you deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve everything bad that comes your way. You deserve everything bad that comes your way. You should not be abusing children. You should not be abusing your babies. Zucko, most definitely. I ain't afraid to take an L out here in regards to just like fighting and things of that nature. But nowadays you got to be more mindful, because people can't take a whooping nowadays with the hands, so they're more than likely to shoot you. So we gotta defend ourselves other ways now out here in these streets. Montel, we already know. I already know. They used to, like, you was black like an African and things like that. Like, that used to be a derogatory statement back in the day. When the word African came out back in the day, it was associated with negativity. D Monty Magic, one of my friends back in elementary school, he used to be the same way. He used to cry when he got mad. And like I said, a lot of people picked on him because of that. But the dude stood up to a lot of people as well. Because like you said, they viewed it as a weakness, man. But at the end of the day, it was just something that he did. It was like reaction. Or it's like, that's basically just how he was. When he was upset, he cried. That was a response to him being upset. Cam Cooper. I know. I just seen that on the mixed end, and I had my afro all the way from 5th grade to like 7th grade, and I used to get a lot of flack for the afro. Again, it was a self-hate. As Malcolm X said, "Who taught you to hate yourself?" So it was a lot of hate going on. Oh, hurts most definitely. Yeah, those for the most part, a lot of them teachers, they were silent when it came to the bullies. But then, like you said, when you just got fed up with it on your own and you defended yourself, all of a sudden you suspended, you in detention and all of that type of stuff. Fun game, most definitely. And that's why I said that's trash. Like, you don't, the one thing you don't take out your frustrations on your children. You don't take out your frustrations on any child when you are an adult. Like that's weak, and that's just trash. You just don't do that. You do not do that. Airview, what? Hey, happy born day. BYG, man, we just been chopping it up about fighting depression, man, and just how to fight it, man, how to conquer it by just letting the flow, letting the thoughts and the feelings and emotions come and go, just letting them flow, letting them run their course. That's pretty much all you miss for the most part. Sean Dow, like I wouldn't necessarily, like, now that extreme, like, again, any extreme is bad. So it's like I'm not about to go out of my way to make sure you don't mess with me again, but I'm just gonna let you know that every time you try to mess with me, you're gonna get a reaction, you're gonna get a response. There's consequences behind messing with me. So that I don't have to go out of my way to just let you know that you don't need to mess with me. It's just every time you attempt to mess with me, you're gonna get a response. That's all, that's it. And I just leave it at that. Address it for the future. Peace, what's going on? Terenzo, and that's deep, and that's something to deal with. That's a tough burden to deal with. D-Monty Magic, but I've been on the heavy bag a lot as of late, man. Just working out in general just helps with depression, man. Just helps with it for me. Like anytime I'm getting in that rut and my mom just having one of those days, man, I just work out hard. D, when it comes to people that are in, like my brothers and sisters that's out here and living out the gang life, embracing the gang life, I really honestly, I have a lot of decent relationships with people that are out here in these streets. I wish that they would be doing something else, because they are some talented individuals that are in these gangs, man. They have some valuable skills. I wish they just applied those skills to something legitimate. But for the most part, man, I just get down to the root of why that person is involved in that gang life, man. At the end of the day, it's just feeling accepted. So a lot of these people feel like they weren't accepted by their family, and then it was just upbringing. Some of them just grew up in that type of culture, like their parents was in that gang life, and they just embracing the lifestyle of their parents and all that type of stuff. It's a neighborhood thing, man. So it's a lot of different reasons why these people are embracing that gang life. But a lot of those brothers and a lot of those sisters, man, are decent people. So I don't judge a person simply because they out here embracing that gang life. Like I said, for the most part, they are some decent people. They just caught up in the wrong type of lifestyle. But that doesn't make them a bad person. D, peace, what's going on? I realize that we got 2 D's in the building. Brandon, yeah, I definitely don't judge. Like I said, man, I could have easily traveled down that road. I just chose not to. But I could have easily traveled down that path, easily have traveled down that road, but I just chose not to. I was like, nah, I don't think prison is for me. I don't want to end up dead. So I was analyzing that stuff as a youngin', and I just realized that's the path. I didn't want to take that path. D-Monty Magic, you already know that I know. Y'all know I came up with the knowledge game, so you already know I'm hip. Fun game, most definitely. Get your cycling on. Yeah, Tavon, and like I said, me too, man. I grew up around it. I mean, it was right by where I grew up, but I didn't walk that path, man. That path wasn't for me. Like it's real, but people don't realize how easy it is to get caught up in that life. I mean, the best of the best children can easily get caught up in that life, man. It's simple to get caught up in the gang life. It's simple to get caught up in that lifestyle. That's real simple, especially for a young man who real easy. Man, I could have easily walked into that life, and my parents may have had no idea, no clue. I could have easily been in that type of lifestyle, easily. Oh yeah, Evan King, we already know that. The government, yeah, the government is the biggest game, man. The government is the biggest game that has ever been created. So yeah, we already know how that go. We already know how that go. Yeah, DeMonte Magic. Prison one for me. Like I did the knowledge set early in my life. I examined that, came to that conclusion early in life. I was like, prison is not a place that I feel like I belong, so I'm not gonna do anything that'll place me in it. So I realized that reality very early in life, and I'm glad that I did. So I did everything in my power to not place myself in situations that would leave me in prison. So that was imperative and that was important. That was imperative and that was important. That was crucial. D, yeah, you could definitely be skinny and still have health problems. Being skinny, even appearing to be fit on the surface, don't necessarily mean you healthy. It's a lot of sick, skinny people. But y'all, man, I wanted to do a quick one on this one, man. I gotta get this gym ready. Once again, I got a client that's about to come in here, about to terrorize them on this session, man. But this was another little short one that I wanted to do in between sessions, man. So again, y'all be easy, man. But I gotta tap on out. So y'all enjoy the rest of this Wednesday, man. Y'all stay positive, stay productive, stay peaceful, stay balanced, stay centered, all that good stuff, man. If you fighting depression, hey, just stay with it. You will conquer it. You not alone. There's plenty of us fighting with you. There's plenty of us that are experiencing that same internal struggle. So you're not alone in this fight. You're not alone in this war. Just understand that you will conquer that depression. You will win that battle. Just remember that. Be mindful of that. You're not alone and you will conquer it. So I'm out, y'all, man. Y'all be easy. Y'all be centered. Y'all be peaceful. Peace, y'all.